Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. So today's project is going to be the Bastards Knives Venator. This is one of my favorite knives by Bastards Knives. This is a great premium knife with that M390 steel. You got the blue dark matter fat carbon for the scales, which I think looks really good. Mill titanium pocket clip. I did do a full review on this knife, so if you guys are interested, I will put a link up here in the corner. You guys can check that out. I dive more in depth about this knife. And just like I said, overall great knife. And I'm going to be creating some custom scales for it today out of the Spalted Maple. And just a gorgeous material. I had some extra on the thinner side, so it'd be perfect for this project. So you can see you have some nice CHATOYANCY there. And it'll pop even more once I put some Tung Oil. But really excited to do this project because this was a gift from Bastards Knives, and eventually after I customize it, this time with these scales, what I'm going to do is probably something special for them next year at Atlanta Blade Show. So let's get started, and what I'm going to do is take this thing apart and we're just going to get right to it. Now that we're back up in the studio, we can take a closer look at what I did. And we'll start off with the show side scale. And as you guys can see, that spalted maple is just a really, really cool material. And that spalted section, or the black fungus area, just has a really cool pattern and kind of shapes around the CHATOYANCY sections, if that makes any sense. But I just love how the wood shifts in the light, and I'm doing my best to get it for you guys, but the camera just is not doing it justice. I'm going to do my best to see if I can get that shift for you guys, or that CHATOYANCY. Just really, really gorgeous stuff. And I don't know, I've been really enjoying using wood lately, just because it's just so pretty and natural. I just think it looks really good. Of course, I'd put my logo underneath. I made a backspacer as well. I was going to originally just anodize the titanium backspacer, but I wanted to make this knife a little extra special, so I had some material left over, and I was able to make a really nice backspacer. And of course, the side that's not shown really makes that CHATOYANCY pop, or you can see it shifting there. I do like that the spalted, or the black areas of the spalted section, are kind of just doing their thing naturally, and I just think the knife really needed it for that nice contrast and for everything to kind of just flow together. And I kept this off camera because this is something I've been wanting to try for a while, and I didn't know if it was going to work or not, but I successfully made a pocket clip with wood. The way around it was to make a pocket clip out of G10, which works really well for pocket clips, but it does function beautifully. And as you guys can see, I made a really thin piece out of that spalted maple so that it can flex around these curves and shapes, so that when I epoxied it on and I clamped it on, it actually went with the curve of the pocket clip that I made, and I could not be happier. And another thing that's a first for me is I used a pin to hold the pocket clip in and one single screw. So as you guys can see, the pin is there, and then I made a section for that pin to click into the bottom of the pocket clip. And then obviously the screw is going to hold it down, but I'm going to give you guys a closer look at that when I assemble it. But could not be happier with that pocket clip. Just something I've never really seen done. So I attempted it, I tried it out, and it worked. So super happy. Now another thing that I did was I stone washed the original liners. So you guys can see it came out really well. And of course the side you don't see was really nicely done. But the edges of the liners are nicely stonewashed, so you have nice contrast. And I also did the blade, because originally the blade was just a sand blasted bead finish, or bead blasted finish. But I really wanted a nice stonewash, and came out beautiful. Gave it a fresh, aggressive cutting edge, as you guys can see there. I just like my knives to bite a little bit. And then I also lightly heat anodized the thumb studs to kind of match the golden hue of the scales. So again, just a little custom touch to those, even though they're not really noticeable, but you know, the little things go a long way. And then I also gave the pivot pins and the hardware a nice stonewash finish to match the liners. It's not a big change, but it's a nice little detail that I think will look good and complement the liners. That's pretty much it. I'll talk a little bit more about it once it's assembled, but let's get to just that and assemble this thing. Alright, so here it is all assembled, and I think this thing looks really good. And that's just me, but as always, you guys, let me know down below what you guys think. But there it is with that pocket clip. And that CHATOYANCY is, I'm trying to get it for you guys, but I can't get enough of it. And I am just falling in love more and more with wood material. And just a quick shout out to Real Eyez Woodz for providing this awesome material. If you guys are looking for really good wood material or stabilized wood, I'll leave a link down to his Instagram and you guys can check out his stuff. I believe he has a website as well. And another thing I wanted to mention on the scales, everything that's wood, I put kind of a, I guess you could call it a micro bevel. I'm sure you guys saw it in the customization part of the video, but just a small bevel all the way around. Not super noticeable, but I always like to put little details in my work, and I think this goes a long way. Just really happy with that. And towards the front, I put a little bit larger bevel, as you can see right there. So that way, when you're doing a pinch grip, it's a lot more comfortable instead of feeling that blocky section up front. And then I also did a small bevel on the back spacer. You guys can see right there up against the liner. And then it fades. I made sure to taper it downward towards the end of each section of the back spacer, so that way you don't bump into it and it's not a high ugly bump on that back spacer. So really, really nice to run your finger over it since it's a gradual incline or decline. You guys know what I'm trying to say, but really, really happy with it. And it does protrude a little bit higher than the scales. That way it gets a little bit more attention. As for the pocket clip, you guys can see I gave that a micro bevel as well. Again, just really, really wanted everything to match. I think it looks really good with that single hardware screw. Just not a lot going on in the back. I tried really hard to make the CHATOYANCY lines match up with the CHATOYANCY lines on the scales. And I think I got pretty darn close, almost as if it camouflages into itself. I think somebody commented on the short about that, and I completely agree with them. I do like the side view as well, since you do have the black with the wood. Definitely complements the spalted sections of the wood. I contoured these scales like the original. I went a little more aggressive than the original because I wanted these to be super comfortable. Then as you guys saw in the customization part of the video, I gave a nice large finger bevel on both sides so that when you hold this thing, it's very, very pleasing in the hand. And then, of course, with that pocket clip, my main goal with a custom pocket clip is always to make it vanish, or do my best to make it vanish. That's always the tricky part, making this the right height to slide into the pocket easily. But super, super happy with the ergos, and I think I nailed it, but I did my best to make that pocket clip disappear, and overall feels really, really good in hand. And now that the scales are on, you can see that gold hue or slight gold hue on the thumb studs are pretty close to the light golden hue of the scales. Any more heat and it would have gone purpley blue, and that's not what I was going for, but really pleased with that as well. There it is, opened up. Give you guys a look on the pocket clip side. And also wanted to mention that this knife is one of my favorites because the action on this thing is really, really good. This thing did break in, but it didn't take much time for it to break in. Just super, super smooth, and just, it does not budge one bit. Just a solid, solid lockup. Sometimes when I close this thing, I'm scared it's gonna bite my thumb, which it has done before, but just super, super drop shutty and smooth. And this is a knife that I would highly recommend picking up. Obviously this one's customized, but even with the regular scales, I think they're beautiful. And I know I said it earlier, but please let me know down below what you guys think. What you guys would have done, or any future ideas for this knife, because I do plan on doing something else to it. And I do plan on selling the scales, pocket clip, and back spacer if you do have this knife. So keep your eyes peeled on the website. And as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you guys on the next one.